There we go. Now we wait. Hello.
And we're having some technical difficulties.
Oh, here everybody comes. Can you hear us? Let us know if the audio and everything is okay. And before we start with the where's Ziya, she is with my dad in the other room. Yes, we can hear you. Okay. So yeah, actually let's switch places so I can be on this comment side.
Okay. I sure can't see him moving that fast.
But you can like go like this.
Okay.
You can stop.
Alrighty.
Violet, you're digging your nails into my chest. What's up, you guys? Kind of just waiting for some more people to get in here since we just started. Yes, Ziya is in the other room with my dad.
Somebody said,
I mean, yeah, it's enabled.
is it enabled?
But I don't know if it's for the specific thing.
Okay.
If we bring Ziya in here, we will not be able to focus or have a conversation because she will be going crazy and being all loud. And as you can tell by the title of this live stream, my mom and I are here today to talk about relationships and dating. And if I'm looking over here because this is where the comments are on the screen. Hey, thank you, Life with Michelle. And thank you, who was that earlier? Let me scroll up. Oh, I think it's gone. Somebody else has sent a super chat earlier. All right, we got 1,300 people in here. I had told you guys earlier that you could DM me questions for this live stream. So not only am I going to be reading the comments, but I'm going to be bringing up my DMs as well. I don't know if you guys can hear Ziya in the background.
There's there's non-subscribers in here. Clearly, I don't know if you care, but you want to just introduce yourself, give some background, just in case non-subscribers end up watching this on the replay. Just talk about, who you are, and I'll talk about who I am.
It's so formal.
Not formal, but just, because somebody just popping in this live chat, relationship with my mom, relationship Q&A with my mom. It's like, who are you and who is your mama to be talking about relationships?
I mean, first of all, let's not even set it up like that. Like we're going to be sitting here like Oprah or Dr. Phil really spilling knowledge. I mean, we have only personal experience. We have only personal opinions. And that's all we're here to talk about. This is a very casual girl talk type moment.
Like talking to your big sister or your auntie about stuff.
This is not supposed to be any type of professional therapy. Who are we exactly? But I guess if there is anybody in here who's new to my channel, doesn't know who I am, my name is Raven. Hello, this is my mom, Tony. We are currently in her office. This is one of her cats, Violet. I just turned 25 years old. Are you going to share your age?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I just turned 59 years old.
So obviously we are here to, the comments went away for a second. We're here to give you guys a perspective from a 25-year-old versus a 59-year-old and the different opinions that we have. I'm a single mom. I have a 2-year-old daughter named Ziya. And my mom, I mean, you can.
Yeah. So I have been a single mom. I've been a young married mother. I've been a single mom. I've been a divorced mom. I've been married to Raven Sapp for 27 years. And we have 4 grown children ranging from 20, almost 21 to 37. And so I know a little something, a little bit about relationships, but.
They're all saying that you don't look 59, black don't crack. They're very surprised that you're 59. Everyone's like, 59 where?
Yep. We were hoping to have Super Chat for Good enabled so that you guys could pay for a Super Chat and have your comments kind of be seen by us. And then that payment would go to a nonprofit called Girls Inc., but we're not exactly sure if we set it up right. So, you know,
a lot of people don't even know what Super Chat is. It's
Super Chat is something that's enabled by YouTube for YouTubers that when they're having a live stream, that someone could pay, you know, $1, $2, $5, and their chat will actually stand out so that, because there's, you know, with 1,000 people in here, 1,500 people, there's lots of comments and there's lots of new people or people who just drop in who just want to say, who are you? What are you doing? And so if you have Super Chat enabled, the influencer can see your comment and can hopefully respond to it better. That was our idea. But Raven's knowledge of the technology and my knowledge of the technology were different. So I don't know if we have it set up correctly, but you still can Super Chat.
We have Super Chat set up. It was supposed to be set up to go directly to the charity. It was Girls Inc., right?
Right.
Girls Inc. charity. Either way it goes, I'm going to donate the money.
All right. So since you said that, let me tell you a little bit about Girls Inc. It's an organization that focuses on girls of color between the ages of 12 and 18, inspiring them to be strong, smart, and bold. They teach girls about healthy living. They provide academic enrichment and life skills. And if you want to check it out, it's at www.girlsinc.com. And like Raven said, she'll be making 100% of the Super Chat donations to Girls Inc.
So yeah, I see some Super Chats coming in.
Hi, Britt. I recognize you.
Britt Brat, yes, from the comments. I always see you in my comments. Let's see. Shonda Green,
hey, Shonda.
Thank you. Brittany M.
Hey, Brittany.
So as you guys can probably see, it really makes your comments stand out. And it's going to a good cause if you guys want to do that.
But you can use it to ask a question. You don't just have to say hi with your Super Chat. Don't waste your Super Chat just saying hi.
I mean, you can hello.
Use your Super Chat for a question.
Somebody said that she used to be in Girls Inc. Okay, so did you have something that you just wanted to start talking about, a certain topic, or did you want to start with a question from this comments?
I don't know if that's relationship related, but I guess it is. What were some of my fears when Raven decided to be a single mom? What did I learn from being a single mom? It's really, I was afraid because it's really hard. It's hard raising children, period. And it's even harder when you're doing it on your own. My background is that I was married at 19. And after 2 years of being married, I had my oldest daughter. We divorced when she was 2. And when she was 4, I had my son, and I wasn't married. So I went from being a young married mother to a single mother of 2 children. And that was really hard. Nobody wants their kids to struggle. So I didn't want her to go through the struggles I had. Fortunately, she's not exactly struggling. She didn't exactly struggle with the same things I struggled from. I was broke. I mean, not broke, but, paying daycare for 2 children and, you know, working as an admin. It wasn't a lot of money. Fortunately, she did not have to struggle financially because her career pays her very well. She has some different struggles.
Hi, Lakin. Hi, Nadine. Want to make sure I'm shouting you guys out in the super chat. Hi, Nicole. I saw.
Hey, Mia.
Oh, here it is. This question right here.
A lot of people do not believe in divorce. When do you believe that a marriage has taken a turn for the worse and it's time to explore divorce options? Definitely if there's any type of physical abuse. Personally, after being married a couple of times, I feel like people give up on marriage too soon. And it's mostly about, you know, not getting along or so say growing apart. You're going to grow apart in a marriage, but then you're probably going to grow back together as time goes on. I would say physical abuse or, cheating. Yeah. I mean, some people feel, I haven't experienced that, so I don't know firsthand. I don't know if I would just say hands down divorce for like one incident of cheating, but if it was like repeated or habit, maybe. But physical, what do you say? You don't know about marriage.
I don't know about marriage or divorce. What you mean? I can't really speak on that, but I mean, I think I would agree with pretty much what you said if it were me in that situation. They want to know, how did you meet my dad?
Ooh, that's a good story.
And somebody else I saw said, you know, how she's older and she doesn't like online dating.
Okay. Well, first of all, has hit its ending. Well, y'all are getting straight to the end of the relationship. We want to talk about the beginning of the relationship.
Hi, Sebastian. What's up? Thank you for the donation.
First of all, I don't really want this super chat to be about our relationships. I'll share it because maybe somebody can get something out of it. I want it to be about y'all's relationships. My husband was a blind date. Didn't I tell this story before?
I know it, but I don't think you ever said it like online on my channel.
An attorney friend of mine that I worked for met him at the club and told him to call me, and he did. And then we started dating. It was a blind date. And that's if we start off the conversation talking about
I think you did tell it in that one Q&A.
Yeah, I know I said that before. What's the best way to meet people? Through other people who really know you. So there's nothing wrong with being fixed up. Senseless, man. Girl. I don't know nothing about that either. I can answer.
Sophia Lorraine, that was in response to your question.
I don't know nothing about a sexless marriage.
Thank you for your donation. Okay, we're trying to keep this to relationship, dating, marriage, relationship advice-based questions. So that's why I'm ignoring some of the other questions. What to do if your friend's crush likes you?
Oh,
let's take it down a couple notches.
Okay.
If your friend's crush likes you, so that doesn't necessarily mean that you like that person. That just means your friend likes that person and they like you. What to do? You don't have to do anything. Don't do anything. That's what I would say. Don't do anything. Stay back. Stay out the mix.
You want to lose a friend?
Stay out of the way. Don't do anything. Unless if you like that person back, that's a different question.
And still, do you want to lose a friend? You want a crush? You want a friend?
Because I've been in a lot of situations where you think, oh, my friend, they'll understand. They won't get mad. Like, what's fair is fair. No, they will get mad. They won't understand. You will lose a friend. So make that choice. Is the crush worth it? When do boys finally grow up and stop being F-boys?
when they
you're
become
older.
a man.
At what age did you feel
It's
like it was like, okay, you're really being serious now, you're mature now?
Some never grow up. There are 30, 40, 50, and 60-year-old. You know, it's about when they become a man, when they can accept responsibility for their actions, be responsible, be honest. It just depends. There's some young men who get married really early or get committed in a committed relationship really early, and they've grown up. What do I think of dating? I like that one. In the current generation and how we date. Do y'all date? Do you date? Or do you just text? I don't know. It's, I don't know. You guys don't do a lot of face-to-face and talking to each other. You do this on the keyboard and you're texting, and a lot can be lost in translation. And you cannot get to know a person through the phone or through the computer screen because you're not able to see how you're not able to experience how they are out in the world. They're not able to see you, how you are in the world. So you got to have some face-to-face. You got to have some, being around their friends. You're being around, them being around. I'm not saying this goes for guys and girls, being around each other's friends, being around each other's families. How do they act in certain situations? How do they handle adversity? That's what dating is. Dating is not just talking, over the computer or over the phone.
They said, no, we don't date.
Getting married in April. Jasmine is getting married in April. Any advice for a future wife? Well, hopefully, if you're getting married in April, you've already made a good choice. So if you've made a good choice, then, and I guess that kind of comes under the topic of kind of staying married, staying committed, and staying in love. What's your advice? How you go into the marriage is how the marriage is going to be. So pay close attention to how that starts off. Simple things like if you start off, and I'm just going to use my own situation, making their dinner, fixing their plate for their dinner. If you start off that way and you're young married, then that's what they're going to expect. 10, 20, 30, 40 years later. If he starts off taking you out every Friday for dinner, then that's what you're going to expect. So pay attention to what you guys are doing in the early part of your marriage.
For new people who just joined in, the super chat donations are going to the Girls Inc. charity. It is not for me. So feel free to donate to get your comment highlighted. That way we can see your question and your donation will be going to a good cause. 100% of the donations are going to Girls Inc. A lot of people are asking about dating in college. Is dating in college worth it? I want to be in a relationship, like a committed relationship, but everyone is telling me not to take college dating seriously. I'm out of college. I dated in college. In terms of not taking it seriously, I think you should take your committed relationships seriously if it is a serious relationship. Like, you owe it to that person if y'all made that clear to each other. But at the same time, you do have to understand that 9 times out of 10, that's probably not going to be the person that you end up with. And you can also just date in college, just to like have fun. Because I also think like it's sort of about gaining experience and learning yourself, learning what you like and don't like in a person. It's not necessarily like, I'm going to date you, I'm going to stay with you all through college, and I'm going to marry you, and this is going to be the person that I stay with. But so it's kind of like a balance between doing it, but not taking it so seriously to where you're going to be crushed if you don't like end up with that person, if that makes sense. But still, I say still do it, and it is worth it because you're going to gain a lot of experience. My mom is still married to my dad. Premarital counseling? Did you do that?
Yeah, we had to. The preacher who married us made us do it. It was just one session, but a couple of sessions. I think it's good. It makes, just in case, most people have thought through things before they get married, especially we were older. I was almost 30. Well, I think I was 30 and Daddy was 32 when we got married. Both of us had been married before. But maybe if you're a first time married, premarital counseling is a good thing because they make you think of some issues and talk about some stuff that you may not have thought about before you get married. So definitely I would say do that.
So Many Smile says, do you think I can't say that word, chivalry is dead? Men opening doors, driving, walking on the outside of the curb, etc. Me, even as a young person, I can say that chivalry is not dead. It just depends on the person that you're with and how they were raised. And I think it feels like, maybe this is like stereotypical, but like a Southern boy who was raised by Southern parents seem to more be, taught those traditional things. But yeah, I still see young guys do that stuff. If it's a nice person who was raised right. People always say chivalry is dead, but you in the wrong circles.
Grad student who's always busy but wants a boyfriend.
Why do you want a boyfriend? That would be my question.
That's a good question. But if you want one, for whatever reason, you got to go where the boys be. You can't just stay in your room. Not necessarily to the club. You have to get out and do things and go to places.
Bree Jones also said, what are some suggestions on how to get out there and meet people and go on dates in a new city?
Think about the things that you like to do and look for activities that focus on that thing. If you like to dance, sign up for a dance class. If you like to, garden, go to a garden. There's dude, I'm serious. You're not gonna, Mr. or Mrs. Right is not gonna come knock on your door and find you. You have to get out and do things. It doesn't mean that you might necessarily meet the person to date at that activity, but you might make friends with someone who has a friend. It's like networking.
Thank you, Erica, for your oh wow! Thank you, Erica, for your donation. And your sweet message. Let me see. Tanisha. How to grow in a relationship with someone that can't forgive from the past if they hold grudges for years and cannot accept positive change. How to grow in a relationship with someone like that? Do you want to grow in a relationship with someone like that? I think is the question. To me, it sounds like a no. But I don't know the whole story.
That would be a no. Because you've already said they can't forgive. Do you really want to be with someone who's unforgiving?
You're gonna always feel like you have to keep making up for that thing, whatever it was. It's gonna always be an argument, keep coming back up. For the 27-year-old who has no desire to be in a relationship, do you. You don't have to do what every other person your age is doing. It's not about what's normal, it's about what you need. So I think that's fine. PM616, your friend is in an unhealthy relationship. Help. I also saw some other people saying what to do if you don't like your friend's boyfriend or your friend is in a toxic relationship. How do you help them without coming off the wrong way? Have I ever experienced that? I mean, I think I've definitely been like had moments where like I didn't necessarily like my friend's boyfriend for whatever reason, but not in like a, you know, serious, he's no good for you type of way. Is more so like, I think he's annoying and I think you can do better. But I've never really had to like, I don't think, like intervene and do a whole like serious intervention for a friend's boyfriend. So I don't really know from personal experience. Do you have personal experience with that?
Yeah. This has been a long time, but the situation I'm thinking about, my friend was in an unhealthy relationship. She was behaving very unhealthily. I didn't think the guy was good for her. I said, stop it. Just stop it. Leave him. I'm quick to tell my friends, leave. Just leave. No, leave. Because I don't want to see my friends get hurt. But you know what? That friend married this person. And that person, and it doesn't happen that often, but this person did a 180-degree turnaround and actually became a great husband. And it's unbelievable, but it happened. And so, I mean, I'd give if your friend's open to advice, you can talk to her about it, but
I think people have to learn the hard way. They just have to. And it's hard to watch your friend go through something like that. But I feel like a lot of times with stuff like that, you put so much effort into trying to help them and change them and fix them and tell them what to do, and they don't listen. And then something happens, and either that happens and it ends up working out and you're like, okay, or they learn the hard way. And
this lady said she felt like a stepping stone. Who is it?
Elora Monet, I feel like a stepping stone. What do I do?
Get off the ground so that people stop stepping on you. Lift yourself up off the ground. Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
Don't. Get up off the ground. Pick yourself up. Oh, Lord, that sounded like a young.
Not on my watch.
I'm sitting there. I know you're serious. I can't say I've never been there, but you got to lift yourself up.
Okay, I'm trying to find all the super chats. Denora, is it hard dating amidst your depression? It's hard to do almost anything with depression in at least some small way. It's going to have an effect on like everything you do, because the way that depression works is it makes you sometimes just literally not want to do anything, don't want to go anywhere, don't want to talk to anyone, don't want to get yourself together, don't want to meet new people, don't want to be in public. So of course with dating, it's going to be hard. But luckily for me, I've been doing a lot better with coping with my depression and getting it under control so that I have less of those days or episodes. So it has helped with my life overall. But yeah, it definitely has an effect on it. Thank you, Sasha. Thank you, Latoya. Latoya.
I think. Okay, go ahead.
Tony, what do you think of Raven's taste in men? And what do you think of the male model? LOL.
Latoya, you just wasted your $5 because I don't know him.
But what? Okay, answer the first question. What do you think of my taste in men in general?
Taste in men. What am I basing it? I don't have a whole lot to base it off of. She hasn't dated a whole lot.
And I mean, my friends may disagree, but I feel like who I have dated, each has been a different person. They look different, they act different, they do like this. I don't, a lot of people are like, oh, you have a type, but I really don't. So, sorry, we didn't get
I don't have any thoughts
answer.
about her taste in men.
Oh snap, it's Dij. Thank you for your donation. She said, advice on moving in with a significant other.
You 25-year-old perspective.
I don't know. Advice. I can't really give advice because I don't have the experience.
What do you think about people moving in with their significant other?
I see a lot of young people move in with their significant other for financial reasons. Let's just live together. You're always over here anyway. Might as well split the bills and get one place. I see that type of mentality, which is like, okay, but I feel it's more so about like making agreements ahead of time and like making sure you're on the same page before you just do that. And then all of a sudden it's awkward. Like, oh, I thought you was going to pay for this. Oh, you didn't pay this time. Oh, you're not doing this or that. And then you're already living together and you start having problems because you went into it like assuming things.
Also, where's the relationship going? One person may be moving in thinking, oh, we're moving in because that's one step closer to getting married. And the other person may not even be thinking about marriage. It's like, okay, we're moving in because we get married, right? Just be clear up front what your intentions are and where you think it's going.
I think you have to have a very long, serious conversation where it's like no holding back before you do that. Don't be scared to like say how you really feel and ask the hard questions before you do that. Rochelle, thank you. Married in September, any newlywed marriage advice?
Well, I guess I got to give some different advice, huh? Since from the first one.
Well, repeat your first one for the new people quickly.
However you start out is how it's going to be. That goes for you. That goes for the other person. It's not, okay, the marriage is not the wedding. The wedding is not the marriage. A wedding and marriage, I mean, that may be obvious, goes without saying. But I think sometimes we get so caught up in planning our wedding and it's this fairy tale event and you're beautiful and he's handsome and everybody's on their best behavior. That is not marriage. So once you settle down and you start going through the day-to-day of life, sometimes it's going to feel not very fun. So just be prepared for that. And, just understand that it's not always going to be, roses and cupcakes. There's going to be some boring times. There's going to be some tough times. There's going to be some conflict. And just, remember your commitment to each other.
So Sunshine made a big donation. Thank you so much. 2 interesting questions. What are your opinions on prenups? And how did you know from my mom, how did you know your marriage was completely over? I guess she's asking me about prenups. To be honest, I don't know much about prenups. I have a basic idea of what that is, a contract legal thing that you sign for your marriage to dictate where the money and assets are gonna go, or that I get to keep my money. We don't have to split things or whatever. If we get divorced, it's like to protect yourself and your own finances.
Would you like prenup if you got married?
I think so, but I don't exactly know like how it works or like what's the other option, or like is it really necessary? Legally, I don't really know. Like
Texas is a community property state, so it really depends on what state you live in. And I think that means, and I may be wrong, but I think that means that once you get married, the assets, especially the assets that you acquire while you are married, belong to both of you. Even if, for instance, your husband was the main breadwinner and he made $500,000 a year and you made $50,000 a year, if y'all bought a house and then you split up, you would split the house 50-50, even though most of his money may have paid for it. that's community property. And I may be wrong. So a prenup would say, I guess it could say anything you want it to say. You know, everything that I had before I got into the marriage, I get to keep if we get divorced. Or it may say that.
Yeah, because I think from what I hear, you can write it up differently.
Yeah, that's
however
right.
you want to write it up. But I think I have my own thoughts about marriage in the first place. But if let's not go there yet. If I were getting married, and being that I already have, because also I feel there's people who go into a marriage not really having much anyway. What's mine is yours. Who really cares? But because I have things already, I've just built a house and I have my finances and whatnot. I would want to protect myself and make sure that that's all understand and legally binding before I go into a marriage and just assume like, oh, it'll be fine. He's not going to take my money. He's not going to want to. I would want to actually have it in writing. So I think, yes, I would want a prenup, but I need to know a little bit more about it. So
the second part of the question was,
how did you know your marriage was completely over?
That was so long ago.
And you were really young.
I was young. I got married at 19 and I was divorced by the time I was 22. And the bigger question was, should I have been married in the first place? Shouldn't have been married. Didn't get married for the right reasons. And therefore, the marriage, it wasn't strong. There wasn't any, bond to keep us together. Ooh, blended.
Tony, thank you, Mommy Mel, for the donation. What advice would you give Raven when and if she ended up in a blended family? So meaning if I have a child, if I'm with someone who also has a child or children.
Advice, that's really general.
We're not a blended family in that way.
Yeah. Well, blended doesn't necessarily mean kids on both sides, I don't think. I think it just means that one or both partners have children already.
So by default, I'm going to be in a blended family.
Yes, I guess.
If you put it that way. But if you're talking about the other person also has a kid.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I mean, it's the same advice whether you have a blended family or not. Be respectful, communicate, be clear up front. What's going to happen and what's not going to happen, what your expectations are, what their expectations are, who's going to be the disciplinarian with the kid. If you are just going to want to discipline your own kid and the step parent is not, there's a whole lot there with the other parent's involvement. It's blended family is not just with the husband, the wife, and the kids, but it spills over into the grandparents, the kids' moms. It spills over into all sets of grandparents. Everybody's just got to be really clear on, how this thing is going to
go. Creative Lex, thank you for your donation. She said, dating this guy for a year, long distance. He shows me that he's into me, but he doesn't express himself ever. How do I question his intentions without sounding like I want a relationship? Okay, wait, you've been dating him for a year, but you don't want to sound like you want a relationship?
Didn't dating a relationship?
I guess she means more like casual date, seeing this guy. Not in a relationship, long distance for a year. That's a lot. It sounds like you do want a relationship, if I'm being honest.
But she said, how does she question it without sounding like she wants to? Why do you not want to sound like you want a relationship? Why wouldn't you just be upfront and say, I want a relationship.
If you've been seeing him for over a year, my assumption would be you really like him, you want to be with him, and you want to have that conversation with him, but you're scared of him not feeling the same way and judging you. But if you don't, you're wasting your time. So you kind of just have to suck it up and say how you really feel and be ready for his response, whether it's good or bad. That's what I would say. Get it out the way. Ask him straight up. Tyra, thank you for your donation. She said, is it bad that I want to be in a relationship at 25? No, I think that's plenty old enough. 25, that's my age. Ooh, juicy question. Nay said, getting back with an ex that cheated and created a baby. Advice on getting past a heartbreak like that. I don't know. I don't know if I have advice for that.
I don't think I could do that. I don't know. That's over my pay grade.
Hold on, let me make sure I'm not missing.
What frightens you? Oh no, I think we answered that one. No? Love, no. Love is not scary.
My ex-boyfriend of 2 years left me for another girl. They're dating right after me and living together. Advice for heartbreak. Advice for heartbreak in general, let's just say. You go through a really bad breakup, they betray you, they start dating your friend, they start dating someone else right after, they cheated on you, they had a baby with somebody else. Whatever it is that really broke your heart. Well, I said one time in one of my other videos that I think you should give yourself time to be sad, allow yourself to be human, and take a day or two off from life if you can. Take time off from whatever you can take time off from. If you need to just be alone after work in your room, don't want to hang out with friends, and need to cry for a little bit, go ahead and do that to get it out of your system, because I think that's just human and it's natural, and it just wouldn't be fair to tell you like you better suck it up and move on with your life. But don't take too much time to just sit there and like wallow in your sadness. I think you have to get up after, a set amount of time and say, okay, I got it out of my system. I took some time off. Now I'm going to get up and go do something to not necessarily, it's kind of like distracting yourself, but like in a positive way. Like do something you like, spend time with friends and family, and get your schedule going so that you're not just sitting there thinking about it. And like do something productive that's going to actually help you in life and like work. People always say like, oh, you have to work on yourself when you're single, but like you really do have to actually be productive in that way.
True. I mean, I would say don't go get in another relationship right afterwards though. She just gave you the do's. I'll give you the don'ts. Don't keep playing things over in your head and trying to figure out what went wrong. It just went wrong. It's over. It's done. It didn't work out. Wasn't meant to be. And kind of give yourself some space between the next relationship. I saw one that wasn't a super chat. I think it said Life Forever wants to know, please, when should kids start dating?
When should kids start dating?
Like you mean teenagers? When you're 16, you could go to the little movie with you could go to the movie, to the skating rink, or out to eat, or to the mall when you're 16.
From my personal experience, I don't know what you let Ashley do or PJ. But from my personal experience, I was like 15, I think, 15, yeah. And that's when I first told you about a boy and wanting to like date him. And you let me. So my first time asking, you said yes. But it was like very parental controlled. Like he has to come over here when we're here,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna meet him first, and he's gonna sit down at the dinner table and tell me about himself, and then I'm gonna check him out, and then I'm gonna decide if y'all can go to the movies. But he can't drive you to the movies. I have to drop you off at the movies to pick you up from the movies. So it's very like you're not. There's no sneaking around. There's no nothing I don't know about. It's very like you can see him, but I'm gonna be watching you watching him.
That's
like,
right.
and that was when I was.
And that's,
15.
I mean, you know, when you get 18, that's when you can, you know, do all the going with him in his car and y'all just hanging out and doing whatever to whatever time. I don't know. But yeah.
And because I wasn't allowed to like be picked up and taken. I wasn't allowed for a boy to come to my house, pick me up in his car, and take me on a date ever when I was under my parents' roof. It wasn't until I got to college.
I don't trust them little boys.
That I was able to do that. So that right there tells you her take on kids.
Dating advice for single moms.
You've been a single mom who was dating.
Yes.
In the past.
I kind of had this rule that came about after I had dated a couple of guys, after I got divorced and dated a couple of guys and kind of introduced them to my kids, and we did things together, and maybe one of the guys had kids and we did things together. But then when we broke up, the kids were like, "Where's so-and-so? Why didn't so-and-so come by anymore?" And they were kind of, attached. So after that, I decided that I didn't want to introduce my kids to any guys until I knew I was serious. And when I met
Sorry, I was still looking at the comments.
when I met your dad, he didn't meet Ashley and PJ until.
I thought you were about to say he didn't meet your requirements.
He didn't meet Ashley and PJ until we had been dating several months, and we weren't like planning on getting married, but we had been dating several months. So that's, I mean, it's if you're.
What you're saying is don't introduce them to your kids.
I kind of feel that way. Just because it protects and it depends. But it depends on the ages of the kid, because my kids were like 4 and 8, maybe.
So they were old enough to really remember and ask questions.
Right. And it depends on the ages of your kids. But that, in my mind, that's kind of protecting the kids from seeing, kind of getting used to somebody and then here comes somebody else.
Bobby, hey Bobby. She said forgiveness in marriage versus in a relationship. What that made me think about was like, if you're just dating someone, you don't really have to forgive them. You could just move on. But in a marriage, I feel like there's a lot more forgiveness going on that you kind of have to do, because you can't just get divorced over every problem.
Forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean like, ooh, you cheated on me and I need to forgive you. It might mean I forgive you for getting on my nerves yesterday. I forgive you for, not complimenting me when I thought you should have. I mean, forgiveness there's a wide range of things that you can forgive. You should forgive everybody.
But when you're dating,
everybody. Forgiveness doesn't mean just I forgive you and I stay in a relationship. Forgiveness just means.
Well, yeah, you should. By that definition, you forgive and move on. But I feel when you're dating, the other cat is trying to join our live stream. When you're dating, if you constantly feel like you're having to forgive them for something, maybe something wrong. A lot of people, when we were talking about like what your dating rules when I was a teenager, they're all saying like, your mom was right to do that. She did you right.
Well,
that's right, Chef Tony. I guess. I mean, wait, I'm trying to make sure we don't. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. My relationship with self. That's very important, relationship with self.
How do you get over being too nice and like learning to stick up for yourself? One day somebody's gonna push you over the edge. And you'll learn the hard way. There's a lot of things like that in life where you just kind of have to learn the hard way because it's hard to just change your personality out of the blue.
You don't have to, it's not about being nice, too nice, or sticking up for yourself. It's about knowing what your limits are, knowing your self-worth, and knowing what you're going to put up with and what you're not going to put up with. And you don't have to be mean or nasty or bitchy about it. You just have to know when you're going to draw that line and have some standards set that I'm not going to be disrespected. I'm not going to be physically abused. I'm not going to be talked to crazy. You're not going to lie to me. You're not going to be unreliable. And it's not about being nice. It's just about knowing what your limits are.
Did having a child at a young age hinder your marriage? Would you have waited? Well, obviously it didn't hinder your marriage.
Well, I got married when I was 19. And we waited
that
2
marriage?
years. We waited 2 years before we had a child, which I thought was a good amount of time to just, get used to being married and have time to ourselves. Did it hinder the marriage? No, it didn't hinder it. I do think that married people need some space just to be married because you're never going to get that time back again, especially if you're a young married and you don't have any kids, neither one of you have kids. Why, rushing into adding another person into that relationship, into the family, when you really haven't had time to kind of get to know each other and spend time together and do things that couples do that don't have kids. I mean, timing is personal to everybody, but I would wait at least a couple of years before having children. Yeah, it does hinder you from going on dates because you got to find a babysitter.
I'm not uncomfortable with my mom talking about the first marriage. I don't have an emotional response to that. I wasn't born. I'm not uncomfortable about that. That's just my face. If I look crazy, it's because I'm also reading the comments. She likes this guy, but he acts so cold to her when they're at work together, but we hung out and he's nice. I find that girls struggle with when you're kind of out in public or around other people, he want to act like he doesn't like you, but then in private he likes you. I don't really know what that's about.
How do you keep determined roles? My husband and I have been married for 9 years and have been together for 12. How do you keep marriage exciting and like new?
You don't.
It's not.
Is your marriage exciting and fresh?
No, not all the time. I mean, at times it is, but it's not going to be like that every day. You have to still court each other, go on dates. You have to go, if you like to travel, go on trips. If you like gifts, buy each other gifts. You have to still, at times, try to remember how to treat that person as if you were dating. But it's exhausting to keep that up every day.
I'm dating a guy I work with, and when we're at work, we try to act professional. He probably just doesn't want. I mean, yeah, but the girl who likes the guy at work, it probably is awkward, like at work in front of your uh, what is it called? Your workmates, your colleagues, and your bosses and whatnot. Probably doesn't want to like act like he likes you or anything unprofessional at work. So that probably has a lot to do with it.
Is marriage a social construct?
Yes.
So why don't you expand on that?
Do y'all really want to get into my whole spiel about marriage? Well, for me, where do I begin? I think that human beings are not designed to be married biologically, emotionally. I heard once that people become a whole new person every 7 years. And I kind of think that's true. Because if you think about like who you were when you were 7, who you were when you were 14, and keep doing that, it's like I really am a whole different person from 7 years ago. So if you meet someone, you fall in love, you marry them, and y'all are perfect for each other, what happens when y'all both change 7 years from then into two totally different people that may not mesh quite as well as you used to? Then you start running into those roadblocks. And then I think that same article had said something about the most common time that people get divorced is 7 years from when they got married. And that was like the whole article. Like you change every 7 years. That's why people get divorced at year 7. Because by then you're just realizing like we can't continue to be perfect for each other. Because we're always changing and changing our opinions, and everything in life changes, and then you start struggling. Like marriage is such a struggle. And that's what I see even with people who are, generally happy and doing good. Just like you just said, it's like, it's hard.
Well, first of all, nobody's perfect for anybody. That's the myth right there. Nobody is perfect for you at any point. It's what you're thinking. They're not perfect for you. People, when you're courting and you are dating, whether you are consciously doing it or not, you know that you're consciously doing it or not, you're kind of molding yourself into what you think that person likes or what that person would be attracted to. In the same way on the other end. Being in a committed marriage is not about a person being perfect for you. It's about deciding. And that's the same thing with love. People say falling in love. You don't fall in love. You decide to love a person. You decide that I'm going to behave in a certain way. I'm going to do certain things because I love you, because I'm committed to you. It's not all about, okay, now I'm, 7 years later, and I'm interested in this and you're interested in that, and we're two different people. Sometimes people do grow. I'm evolving as a person and they're evolving in their own way, but that doesn't mean that you still can't have a committed and happy marriage. If that's the case, then you ain't gonna be happy single either. Unless you think that in 7 years you're gonna find a whole nother person that's gonna fulfill that relationship. It's not. And when people get divorced many times, they're not even finding, if you get divorced for that reason. If you get divorced because of some serious issues. But
I guess that's what I'm saying is because like you probably see people who get married, 7 years later they get divorced, go on to the next person, get divorced. People who get divorced multiple times because they keep thinking that they're gonna find that perfect thing to stay with forever. And like you just said, that's not how it works. So one way of thinking about it is don't get married so that you don't keep getting divorced.
I am totally okay with people who don't get married, who decide not to marry. The thing is,
but like you said, when you get married, it is a decision. It's not like and somebody said it's also a biblical principle. It's a religious thing. Largely, a large part of marriage, period, is a religious thing. And that's a whole nother subject for me. I'm not religious, so I don't think of that part of it as much. But just talking more about the relationship, partnership part of it, it's like a decision. It is literally like a legal contract that you say, I am going to decide to be with you forever. And this is what we're going to do through sickness and in health, regardless of whether I like it or not.
Sometimes you're not going to like it.
I'm choosing to do this for X, Y, and Z reason because there are benefits of it, obviously.
Yes.
But to me, sometimes the way, and I don't have a clear cut, it's not, because people are like, so you never want to get married? No, it's not that I never want to get married. It's not that I'm totally against marriage. I'm still young and I'm still deciding how I feel. But sometimes the way I think about it is, do you need that contract? Do you need that legal binding contract in order to be happy with someone, in order to feel secure with someone, in order to get what you want out of life? Do you necessarily have to have the marriage part specifically, or can you just be in a relationship with someone and then possibly not be with them anymore and possibly be in a relationship with, I mean, I don't know.
Here's what I think. I think that if you don't want to get married, that's fine. I have friends who have never married. They're my age and they're perfectly happy. They live fulfilled lives. However, if you are, and I have friends who are divorced maybe, and who are my age and are in relationships and have no desire to marry again, that's fine. If you have children, I feel that it's better to have the benefit of marriage. If you have children, or if you're planning on having children, and that's a whole separate video. But it's a whole separate video because it's really deep about, is it better for children to be raised in a inside of a marriage, a committed marriage, or to just be raised by one parent? Is it better for the mother? Is it better for the father? Is it better for the child? Is it better for the grandparents? And I would argue that it is. It's a better situation. And I think what you would say is, well, you could be in a committed relationship but not be married.
And also I feel, because it's like people say, and this is true, I'm not negating this, but people say, well, getting married is like kind of locking you in. Like, now I know you're committed because you're going through all this trouble to have this wedding and buy me this expensive ring and sign this legal, and divorce is a big deal. So you actually marrying me is what's letting me know that you are committed, and I can be sure about that. But then it's like, I don't know, just from my experience, it just seems like, but people just get divorced so easily. I mean, I know it's not an easy process, but it's like, I'll just get divorced.
Yeah,
it's not
either. I don't think you should go into it with that. But then, like we were talking before, you got to back it up, back it up to the very beginning. Make the right choice, choose the right person, have your conversations and your communication about what your expectations are. And if you start it out in the right place, more than likely it will end up in the right place and it won't end in divorce. But there's a whole lot of steps that go along with that commitment. And even if you say people get divorced, at least you're going into it saying that I am, in my mind, have made a decision to be committed to you. They stand up in front of the whole church or the whole congregation or the whole wedding and say, till death do us part. Those aren't just words that you're supposed to be saying. If you're going into it and you don't believe that, then don't get married. But if you seriously believe that this is going to be the partner that I go through life with until one of us dies, then you should have made that decision to get married. If you can't get with that, if you don't believe that, then don't get married. But
I think the religious aspect of it is a huge part. I don't want to get into that right now, but I think that's a big part of it because, like you just said, you're declaring something in front of the church, in front of God. And that's what everybody's saying in the comments. It's like, it's sacred. You're declaring in front of God. That's why divorce shouldn't be an easy option. But like when you take the religious part out, then it kind of like low-key ruins the whole point of it. Let's not even get into that. Marriage these days isn't what it used to be. People give up easily or they don't take it seriously.
no,
And it varies.
Right
It's
reasons.
not people. A lot of people say this generation ruined marriage. This generation doesn't believe in marriage. This generation, and maybe it is. I did see a statistic that says, you know, marriage. It was like saying divorce rates are down, but the only reason why divorce rates are down is because marriage rates are down. Not getting married in the first place to get divorced. In this generation. So I get, you know, clearly things are changing with this generation, but it might also just be more modern. Like, I don't know, things change as time goes on.
But you should be able to say it's better. I mean, you know, it's better if I don't get married. And that you're not seeing that. You're not seeing, you know, long-term committed relationships that work out better because people aren't married. I don't know.
Maybe this generation just isn't as religious. That might be part of it too.
Well, I'm not religious, but I still believe in marriage. I mean, you have to be religious to believe in.
Somebody said, why would I sign a contract saying I'll stay with someone no matter what they do to me?
That's not what it said. You can write your own vows.
That's low-key kind of how I think about it too.
You can write your own vows.
It's like you're really signing your whole life away to one person, technically, because you are technically not supposed to divorce them. You're technically saying till death do us part. But then it's like, but if this and this and this and this and this happens, then that's an exception and I'm going to divorce you.
Yeah, if you choose right in the beginning.
But how do you, and you don't know. That's part of my personality is having anxiety and being a perfectionist and being like, I don't know. How do I know if this is not, sometimes you don't know when you're making a mistake. And you're not going to know until it happens. And so going into it.
Making the best decision with the information that you have gathered over time and having faith that that person has done the same thing. You know, there's a risk in everything. There's a risk in a business partnership. There's a risk.
Yeah, I'm not good with taking risks.
Okay. Yes, you are.
I'm not good with taking risks on purpose. Somebody said this generation we're thinking about getting a bag, not getting married. Yes, and I think people maybe are waiting till they're older to get married or just not getting married at all. This generation has no morals and values. They think about fun and games. Some things are sacred. Maybe they should.
This is deeper than I thought. Talking about marriage, I thought
that's why I said I really want to get into this because I only just scratched the surface of like really what I think because you can't just boil it down to one sentence. I believe in it. I don't believe in it. It's not that simple.
There's a whole lot of stuff that goes on and that should go on before you say I do. Now, I'm gonna say my truth. And that is that when I got married, and she was asking how did I know that marriage was over, at 19, I had known my husband. I had known my fiance 2 months. 2 months. That's ridiculous. And a lot of marriages that I've watched around me that have not worked out is because you don't really know each other. You haven't taken the time to find out what that person's all about, find out what their values are, what they believe, what they don't believe, who their friends are, how their family is. You know, so that's part of how do you know, making that choice. Spend time around the person and get to know them. And have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of conversations about things that are important to you, not just about, things that are on the surface and, the wedding,
Okay, I have a question, and it's kind of coming from the comments too. How I was saying, like, how do you know if you're choosing, when you marry someone, you're choosing that person for life. How do you know for sure that you're choosing the right person? And you're saying spend time with them, have deep conversations. Do you believe in the whole, like, when you know concept? Like, because people are saying, like, oh, I think you will get married when you find the right one. You just haven't found the right one yet. You'll know when you find that person. It'll make you want to have that commitment to them.
That kind of sounds like it's based on emotion and just some some spiritual feeling. I don't know. I think it's more logical than that. And you gather your information. You know what it is you like, what you don't like. They know what it is they like, what they don't like. They know what it is they can put up with and what they ain't gonna put up with. And you're being very honest about it. It's more logical than just a feeling of just knowing. Yes, if you got your list and that person, that man or woman, ticks off on that list all those things that you got to have, and they don't have on that list all those things you're not gonna deal with, then yeah, it's like, oh,
So you're saying it's not really a spiritual, emotional feeling. It's more of like a literal checklist of like making sure this person is this person.
Yes, of course you gotta like them and love them and be attracted to them, but kind of what makes you, these. Let me talk about these kids, but
you kids these days.
Yes, he said, "Oh, I love him. Oh, I'm in love." What do you love about him? Can you tell me what you love about him? Okay, if you got your list that says, I love that he is responsible. I love that he is respectful to his parents. I love that he is, I used to have a friend who would say the guy she was dating, she ended up marrying him. He was very, very future oriented. He was future oriented. He was really, on his grind, putting his career first. You love that part of him. I love that he loves dogs. I love that he wants a big family, whatever the thing is. But you just can't say, "Oh, I love him."
So you say have a checklist, spend lots of time with them, have lots of conversations, so you know that everything on your checklist is checked,
right?
And then get married.
Well, yeah. I mean, if your list, if he fits your list, if you fit his, if he's what you're looking for. But first, the thing is, you got to know what is it you're looking for. What are you looking for? And you don't know that until you make your list. I can't read those.
She said, I don't, because people change every single day.
People don't change. People hide their true selves from you, but they don't change.
Pick someone that fits your lifestyle like a puzzle piece. It's all about a checklist, honey.
I hear so many people saying, we were dating for 5 years or whatever, married for 5 years, and he changed. They didn't change. They're the same person.
People fake for so long, they try to act a certain way to please their significant other, and then they can change after years go by.
I don't know if people can keep the fake the funk for years. I don't know if they can fake it for years. I think they can fake it for months, and I think little parts of them,
maybe a year,
little parts of them,
it starts seeping through.
And then you notice it, you're like, oh, let me see. Did he just?
Because some people are fake, and sometimes you really don't know. Fake. But that's why I guess you're saying you have to spend years.
Not years. At least my thing is 2 years. A year deciding if he's the one. And typically, if you're going to get married, people start planning, their wedding for another year. So that's 2 whole years. And don't think if you start planning that wedding and things start not looking right that you can't call it off. But or, you know, perhaps you'll move in with them after a year and then you'll really get to know them.
Oprah's advice is to become your checklist and you'll attract the right person. Somebody said that.
That's good.
I think that's true. You can't walk around with this long checklist and you can't even do any of the things on that checklist and expect someone with all those things to want to be with you.
I'm going to tell a story that my mom told me. I'm trying to think if she's gonna watch it. She did tell me this, that when she dated my dad, she and my dad dated in college, and he was one way, and then she got married to him, and then he changed, and she asked him, she told me, you don't do all the things that you used to do when we were dating. You don't, whatever it was, you don't buy me flowers, you don't take me out. I don't remember what it was, but you don't do the things that you did for me while we were dating. And he said, damn right. That's why I married you. I couldn't keep that shit up.
It wasn't that story.
That's right. Because he wanted to hurry up and get married because he couldn't keep up the facade of how he knew he wasn't going to be once he got married.
Because you're going to get duped. But a lot of people are saying they disagree with you, saying, because you said people don't change. People disagree.
Well, and I contradicted myself, didn't I? Because I said my friends.
You said he was really bad. He turned out to be a great husband. And then you just said the opposite.
I did say people typically.
People do change. I disagree with you. By and large, people do change.
By and large, people don't. I say the majority of people don't change. They are who they are.
People change. People do change because major life experiences cause you to change. Some people take a long time to change, and some people with certain things do never change. But overall, I would say people do change, but you can't try to change a person.
No, that's the rule number one. Never think you're going to change a person. Never.
Do you believe in moving in with someone before marriage? Ziya,
come here.
Ziya is going to join the live stream.
I mean, as long as I think you answered that before, because as long as you know what the expectations are.
You want to come today?
Why not?
And the change could be good. Yeah, some people change for the better, as my mom said. People don't change because you change them. They change because they want to change. Yeah, or something major happens. People don't change. You just start actually paying attention. I guess when you're talking about negative changes, just realizing that those negative things were probably always there. Maybe you can give advice on gaining the confidence to leave a marriage when you have children and being afraid to start over.
Just in my personal experience, I just felt like I would be especially because of the child, I would be a better mother to my daughter if I was not with her father, because I wasn't happy. Okay. And I mean, it's scary because if you've been, especially if you were like I was, a stay-at-home mom, and you have to get out there in the workforce and, kind of do everything on your own. But I think you just have to have the confidence to know that you can be a better person outside that marriage than, if you've really decided to leave. What are you doing?
Yeah, boo-boo. Don't forget about the super chat option, because there's a lot of comments. I'm trying to scroll through and find the actual questions. You can donate Again, it's going to Girls Inc. It's all going to
I
charity.
love this one. Kenitha? Actions speak louder than words. See people for who they are, not who you want them to be. Always, always, always pay attention to how a person is acting and not what they are saying. Their actions will be the true self. But he said such and such, such and such. No. How is he acting? Or she. I don't want to just put it all on the guys.
Someone said my dude hid his real self for 5 years.
No red flags? None? Receding hairline? Monique, that is not physically my type. I thought you said was physically your type.
I date someone that's not physically my type, receding hairline. Otherwise, things are amazing. I told myself I wouldn't settle in anyway. Is it settling since he's not physically my type?
No. No.
My mom says no.
No.
I say kind of, because I do think a physical attraction is a main, not the main part, but it is a main part of a relationship. If you're constantly looking at somebody like, I'm not attracted to you, how are you gonna really like?
You're gonna.
I don't know.
There's levels of.
There's a difference between like, you're not the most beautiful person I've ever seen in my whole life, but I'm still like, you're cute, you're still attractive. But then, like, if you're just literally not, she just came in here for her Barbie snacks and left. That's all she wanted. I think it depends on if you're like kind of attracted to them, like they're cute, or if you're just like not attracted to them at all, then that might be a problem. But they don't have to be like freaking the most beautiful, have every single physical attribute that you like, because that's a little much to ask for. My husband and I were married when I was 18. He was 21. We were both very immature, but we grew together and we grew our marriage. Here we are, 3 kids and 4 years later. So some people do
there's always
grow together.
Exceptions to every rule. I think you just want to.
Someone said, ask yourself, can I see myself with this person in the next 10 years? And going back to my thought process is like, how do I know if I can see myself with someone for the next, how do I know anything that's going to be going on 10 years from now? So much can change in 10 years. Like, that's not really a real question, because you're just going off of nothing. You have no idea what 10 years from now is going to be like. So trying to imagine myself, I just can't. But again, people are like, well, if you're with the right person, you would be able to. I don't know.
Yep, this is why it's important for you to talk about who you both want to become. Thank you to Chad Ross. That's true. Talk about what your goals are. Talk about where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. At least with what you're hoping for, what you're planning for is in alignment. Again, you never know. Things might go left, but at least with what you're trying to have happen 5 years from now, you guys should be on the same page with that. But introducing your baby daddy to a new boyfriend. I mean, it depends on your situation, because some people's baby daddies are just like, I don't care. Like, it's no big deal. Sure. Hi, nice to meet you. Just want to make sure you're not a crazy person. And some people's baby daddies are like, I don't want you to have anyone around my child at all. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, my relationships with my children's fathers were very amicable to my husband. They got along. They were respectful. I mean, respect is kind of the key. They were respectful to each other, and because they were respectful to each other, that meant that, you know, when they came to the house to pick up their children, they was, hey, how you doing? Have a conversation, maybe talk about football. Sometimes my ex-husband and my current husband would be having a telephone conversation and it had nothing to do with me. So it's just all about, you know, putting the child first and being respectful to each other. You know, that the X, if it's an X, is over. There's no reason to be any animosity there.
If the father is respectful to you and is a good father, I think out of respect, you should introduce them.
That's it.
So you're saying if your baby daddy is disrespectful, don't even bother introducing him to the new boyfriend? Eventually, they're gonna have to meet. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd have to make it a big deal, like, oh, this is an introduction, but you know, if they happen to be in the same place at the same time, then. But
what religion are you, and did you grow up in the church?
Yeah, I was baptized Baptist. I don't go to church now. I grew up going to church. I don't know about in the church. I went to church. I went to United Church of Christ.
Life is short. Don't waste it with negative people who don't appreciate you. Keep them in your heart. Keep them out of your life. I'm not necessarily going to keep them in my heart either. This panty strip club comment, it sounds very a lie, first of all.
It can happen, but okay.
It's a lie. That is not true. She said, I found panties under my bathroom rug that weren't mine. My husband said he didn't know. He later said he got them from a strip club and his friend told him to hold them, how to move forward. First of all, why did he lie and say, I don't know? If you're lying. That's how I know you're lying. Because you try to be like, oh, I don't know. And then when you keep asking, it's like, oh, let me make up a crazy story since she's not going to let it go. It's a lie. Do some further investigation.
Were you totally shocked that you found panties under the rug? Were you really shocked, or were you like,
I think I might know where this came from. Do you think relationships with in-laws are important? I have a hard time getting along with my mother-in-law. Thank you for your donation, Courtney. I don't know anything about in-laws.
Yeah, it is important. I don't have, I didn't know my mother-in-law because she had passed away before we got married. I did know my father-in-law, and he, you know, we were fine. We have sister and brother-in-law, and my husband has a great relationship with my mother. So yeah, it's important. I mean, it depends on how close you live to them, how often you have to see them. Yeah, in-laws are important because you've got family gatherings, you got holidays, you got weddings, you got funerals, you got all these things where you're probably going to be around your in-laws, and you just have to try to get along with them.
He said he didn't want to tell me he went to the strip club, and yes, I was shocked.
Oh, he didn't want to tell you. Okay.
So he was lying about going to the strip. Why?
So he had the panties in his
normal.
pocket,
I don't
and he
think
hid
it's
them under
normal
the
to
rug.
bring panties home from
Throw
the
the
strip
panties
club.
out the car window on the way home.
And how did they end up under the bathroom rug? That's a very, think about that location. Because if he was just, some random panties from the strip club, it probably would have been in his car. It probably would have been, oops, fell out in the driveway. Under the bathroom rug? Further investigation needed.
Further DNA.
Hi, Hyatt. You know what you need to do. Don't be dumb. Leave her alone. Let the lady live.
I mean, you know, some people don't care.
Thrift Queen, what was your question? Oh goodness. How to co-parent with his ex and his new girlfriend. He cheated on me with her while I was pregnant, and she controls a lot of situations on his end.
That's a tough one.
She's controlling, and she's not really the one who's supposed to be controlling. So you might need to take legal action.
Yeah, here's the thing. People misunderstand what co-parenting means. They think that co-parenting means we have a child, we're not together, and I'm her parent and he's her parent, or I'm her parent and she's her parent. We are co-parents. Co-parenting is when you are very comfortable communicating with the other parent and you guys equally share the raising of this child. Equal or equivalent. You can be flexible about, how much time the child spends with this parent or that parent, or it may be a joint custody situation where it spends half the time with you and half the time with the other parent. Parallel parenting is when there is contention in the relationship. So if you say that he cheated on you and she's in control and there's discord in the relationship, then you basically kind of have to have a business arrangement, which means more of a set schedule, more of some kind of written guidelines as to, how much time he's going to spend, the child is going to spend with each parent, and different ways of communicating. You may not want to be, calling your ex on the phone because it creates problems with his new wife. You kind of want to handle it more like a business arrangement so that you have very little contact with him. And so hopefully fewer problems. But I'm with Raven. She doesn't get to control what happens with
somebody said
child.
That's your and his child. She's just the girlfriend, which is not to be disrespectful towards the girlfriend, but it's like the parenting should be between you and him. And if she is overstepping boundaries, you need to handle that. And sometimes you have to handle it legally if a conversation is not working.
You just pick up and leave a plan for it. Mm-mm. No, you have to plan for it, Alexis. You can't you gotta have a plan. Like, where are you gonna live? How's it gonna affect the girls' school? You gotta have a little bit of a plan.
D Thrift Queen had sent in a super chat and didn't get her question answered. This was her question. She's on a celibacy journey, wants to have more adventure other than intimacy. I think the biggest thing with that is going to be about your partner agreeing with you and being on the same page about celibacy, because you don't want any issues with you're on a celibacy journey, but what about him? Other than that, I mean, I think that's cool. I mean, I don't feel any type of way about celibacy. want more adventure.
Sounds like she says waiting for your man, so she's not with a man, and she wants to have adventures without being dated. Yeah, go for it. How do I feel about? So let's see. I don't know.
That's just a very personal decision. Especially you're saying you're just doing it for yourself before you're with someone. That's that's great. That's your personal choice. I can't tell you personally if you're asking for advice on what those other adventures are going to be. I mean, of course, exploring your personal interests, working on yourself, working on passion projects and things like that. Hannah Phillips, thank you for your $10 donation. How to spend quality time with your significant other if he always plays video games. He's an amazing person, but every day after work till sleep, all day on weekends and most of the night. Been together for 4 years. I've actually seen a couple other people asking about the video game addiction thing. I mean, I've definitely dated guys who played a lot of video games. I wouldn't say that they were like completely addicted or anything, but it definitely gets annoying because it's like, is it that fun? Like you're just playing the same game for hours, days on end. And if you're a girl who doesn't play games, it's not like you can play with them or get into it with them.
Well, the question is, does he want to spend quality time with you? You want to spend quality time with him, but he's spending all his time playing video games. Is he someone who really wants to spend quality time with you? I mean, you shouldn't have to like force him to do that. I mean, if you told him, I would tell him.
Yeah, sometimes they just really
I need some time.
They don't realize that it's bothering you. They just think, well, she hasn't said anything. She's not complaining. Like, what's the problem? She's doing her thing. I'm doing my thing. So definitely make sure that you speak up about it. If you say that it bothers you and then he's just kind of like, well, too bad, then that might be a bigger problem. But I think with any issue like that, a lot of time, as I feel as girls, we're scared to really, like, we try to like drop little hints instead of like just saying how we feel, because we're scared like, oh, he's going to get mad. He's going to take it the wrong way. He's going to think I'm annoying. He's going to think I'm nagging. But they don't get it unless you just like tell them straight up. Yeah, have a conversation about game time. Yeah, maybe you can find games that y'all can play together. I don't play any games. I've never been a gamer, so that was always something with me that's like, I can't play that. I don't know how to play. Unplug it. Someone said just unplug it. Yeah, I'd say just give him a chance to actually change. Like, speak up, give him a chance to do something about it. Throw the game out the window. Jump in front of the TV with a plate of food. Ask him, hey, do you care about me?
Right. Or you just care about this game?
When is a good time to introduce your child to a significant other? You said earlier that you didn't introduce your children when you were dating.
Just not the first few dates. I mean, we talking about dating in 1990 versus dating in 2018.
In 1990, y'all actually had to go on literal dates.
Yes.
And that was like weird dating. I went on 1 date, 2 date, 3 date, 4 date.
Right.
And so by the 5th date, I introduced you. But in 2018, a lot of times it's not divided like that.
It's not. I'll venture that it's not really a date. You're just talking to somebody.
You're dating, but not like physically going on
a date. How do you date without being on a date? How do you be dating without being on a date?
Okay, let me ask the chat. Do y'all go on dates? Or when you say dating, are you talking about literally going on a date with someone and counting the dates that you go on? Or when you say dating, are you talking about just talking?
Yeah, no. Somebody said no. Yes, yes, no, yes. Texting, no, yes.
It's a mix.
Never
I think
been on
it
a date.
depends. I think it depends. I think people do go on dates, and that's what they say. We're dating. I went on this date, that date, and that date. Dating and talking is the same.
No,
thing.
it's not. No, Alexis, it's not.
She said, "Nah, mom, we just be texting." Dating is official. So dating is only when he's your boyfriend.
No, you date a person to get to know that person, to see if he's going to be your boyfriend. That's the way we did it.
We go outside. What?
Going out, enjoying each other's company, getting to know each other. They barely want to pay for a drink at Starbucks. Well, then they ain't the one for you, ma'am. Dating is like courting. What is the difference? Talking, what is talking? Talking is something we did in 6th grade when we couldn't go on dates. Jeez.
Nope, young people not dating. It's not the same thing. I mean, I guess technically dating is a myth. Me and my boyfriend go on actual dates. Okay, but that's your boyfriend.
Dating is getting to know each other.
Dating is going on a date. No way to get around that. I don't believe dating is actually a thing. I mean, I guess like dating is like when you go on dates. Talking is when you're texting. You're texting. You're not really going out and spending time together.
That doesn't count for nothing. That counts for nothing.
It's hard to get guys out of the house.
Then move on to the next. That'll come out the house.
Usually, like, I think what people would say is you have the talking first, and then you have the dating, and then you have the.
But the talking should not go on for like weeks and months and months. No.
No. Yes, talking lasts for months and months.
No. What you talking about?
I mean, I'm not saying this is right. This is how it always is, but I know, not just from my own experience, but generally speaking, talking ends up lasting for a long time without actually going on back-to-back dates. I'll never have a boyfriend if people don't start taking me out on dates.
Set that expectation when you're talking. When you're talking, tell them I expect for you to take me on a date. If you want to get to know me
nowadays,
better.
guys only want to do Netflix and chill. Everyone's talking and hanging out. Dating is no longer a thing. I mean, what's the difference between hanging out? I guess hanging out is only when you're like in the house, not doing anything. And dating is when you actually go do something.
Y'all have to hold these young men accountable.
They're lazy.
Hold them accountable. Don't keep letting them hang out at your house, put their feet on your coffee table, play video games on your Xbox.
Okay, somebody said, well, in that case, is it okay to date more than one guy?
Yes. My definition of dating, yes. You're getting to know that person.
So you're having more than one guy at a time take you out.
Yeah, you can.
But
you don't have to.
They're not your boyfriend.
You can. And then and you let them know. I mean, it's not like you're sneaking. You let them know I'm actually dating other people. Getting to know them.
Someone say, you're right, Mom. Texting counts for nothing. Y'all ever seen Catfish?
Set your expectations. I expect to be courted. I expect to be dated. I expect you to take me somewhere. If you like to go to the movies, have them take you to the movies. If you like to go out to eat, have them take you out to eat. If you like to go to museums, have them take you to museums. But I expect for you to court me. I expect for you to treat me to some things.
They shouldn't even know where you live if they haven't taken you out on at least 5 dates.
Ooh, 5. That's. And you know what? Let me. I'm not going to put it all on the guys because I'm going to go back to when me and your dad were dating. We went on a lot of lunch dates. Our first dates were lunch because we both worked, and of course I had kids, so I didn't always have babysitting. And it wasn't like I expected him to take me out to lunch each time. I really made it a point to, okay, the next time we go to lunch, I'm going to pay. That keeps it, casual. lets him know that you're not just looking for someone to treat you all the time and you're not willing to.
I want to be spoiled and treated like a queen. But yeah, that's what my mom is saying though. It's not all about being spoiled and making him take you out and pay for stuff. You can like split it.
Now, before I met your dad, I did make the mistake of when I call myself dating guys to say, because, you know, I can cook, to say, oh, come over and let me cook you dinner. Don't do that. Don't start off that way. Don't start off make it now that 5 times, make them go out to restaurants 5 times before you cook dinner. Because if on the first date, you're like, oh, come over and I'm going to cook you dinner. Sometimes some guys will be like, oh, good. She's, you know, she can cook. I can just come over here. Don't do that. Wait before you cook for them.
Okay, I feel we've been on here for an hour and 45 minutes. I feel like we need to wrap it up.
Oh, I thought it was.
So let's maybe answer one more question and then we're going to wrap it up. How do you not nag when men are so Aggie, meaning aggravating?
I don't know what that means.
Do people say Aggie back in the day?
No, but I keep up. No chefing over here. How do you can't, yeah. I don't know. I'm not a nagger.
What?
I do not nag. I do not nag. I just say, you know, hey, this is just matter of fact, very matter of factly. Set your expectations. If I got to keep telling you something over and over and over and over again, then you're probably not the person for me. Yes. No. Yeah. No. I would say the movies is not a good first date because you want to be somewhere, unless you're going to go to dinner afterwards, because you want to be somewhere where you can talk and you can ask each other questions and get to know each other.
Okay, wait. I just realized that I didn't answer any questions from my DMs.
And I'm long. I thought we were only on here an hour. Notice what time it was.
5 when you're on the live stream. I mean, I think I was looking through my DMs and we answered, like, people asked the same questions and I feel we answered a lot of like everything that people asked. Let me see if I can find like one.
Am I too young to be having this talk? I'm only 11. Get out the room. Leave.
I don't think that's too young.
It's nothing too mature for you, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, looking through the DMs, I think people are asking the same questions. You know, about heartbreak and how to put yourself out there and stuff like that. So
I prefer girls to text me. I'm sure you do. That's all I got to say.
So
all right, I'm tired. It's like 20 minutes past my bedtime.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We will be saving this live stream to my channel so you can come back and rewatch or watch the part that you missed if you want to. Thank you to everyone who sent in a donation. Anissa Marie, I see you're the last person who sent in a super chat. We did talk about how to address your friend if they're in a toxic relationship. So definitely check out the video when we save it. But yeah, maybe we'll do this again sometime. But for now, we are out of here. So good night, you guys. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for all the donations.